Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're the place you come to get smart about fascinating topics fast.
And today, we are really diving deep into something fundamental, something we all experience every single day. Emotion.
Yeah, emotion, it feels so basic, right? But when you actually try and define it or explain it, it gets complicated fast.
It really does. And that complexity, that's exactly what we're digging into. We've got a whole stack of sources here. Big overviews, practical tips from, like, a TED Ed talk.
All aimed at giving you a clearer picture of your own emotional world.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so picture this. You and a friend, you study like crazy for a huge exam, both expecting top marks.
Right, put in the hours.
Exactly, but then the results, way lower than you hoped, and you're just crushed, totally disappointed.
But your friend...
Your friend just kind of shrugs it off, already moving on.
Yeah, that's such a relatable scenario, and it makes you think, why the difference? Why do we react so differently? What even are these things we call emotions?
And what are they doing? So that's our mission today. We want to cut through all the noise, the centuries of thinking and science.
And give you a real shortcut to understanding emotions.
We'll look at what they are, how they work, maybe why we have them.
And crucially, how you can navigate your own feelings more effectively.
Get ready for some hopefully aha moments that might just shift how you think about, how you feel.
Let's dive in.
Okay, so first things first. When I think emotion, I feel like I know what it means. But you mentioned it's hard to define, even for experts.
That's exactly it. And it's kind of the perfect place to start. There really isn't one single definition that all scientists agree on.
Wow, okay.
Which tells you something right there. It's just, emotion isn't just one simple thing. It's more like a dynamic process, something we're still figuring out.
So it's messy. Like Wikipedia gives a pretty broad definition, right?
Yeah, super broad. It talks about physical and mental states linked to brain changes associated with thoughts, feelings, behaviors, and whether something feels good or bad. It tries to cover all the bases.
Then you've got neuroscientists like Joseph Ledoux. He has a more maybe mechanistic view.
A bit, yeah. He focuses on it being a result of a conscious process. It happens after your body systems react to some trigger.
So body reacts, then the mind processes it into an emotion.
That's his angle, emphasizing that conscious cognitive step.
And history-wise, this is wild. The word emotion only showed up in, the late 1500s? From French?
Yeah, 1579, from émouvoir, meaning to stir up.
But the idea of emotion as we talk about it now, that's way more recent, like 1830s.
It's pretty mind-blowing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Thomas Brown coined the modern concept.
Yeah.
Before that, people just didn't frame their inner lives that way.
They talked about
Things like passions, accidents of the soul, moral sentiments, completely different ways of understanding those intense feelings.
which really highlights how language shapes our understanding.
Absolutely. And it leads us to something really practical we need to clarify. We toss around words like emotion, feeling, mood.
Right, I use them interchangeably all the time.
We all do, but they technically mean slightly different things. Let's break it down for you.
Okay.
So think of emotions as the body's rapid response system. Quick, intense signals pushing you to act.
Like panic if you stumble, or that flash of anger in traffic.
Exactly. Short-lived, usually triggered by something specific. Now, feelings.
Feelings are how I experience that, my internal label for it.
You got it. The subjective interpretation. Your private awareness. When you say, I feel angry,
Okay, and moods.
moods are more like the background weather. Less intense than emotions, longer lasting hours, maybe days.
And sometimes you don't even know why you're in a certain mood, like just general anxiety or contentment.
Precisely. Often no clear trigger.
Yeah.
And finally, affect.
Affect is the big umbrella term.
Yeah, it covers a whole lot. Emotions, feelings, moods, even your general disposition. The whole emotional landscape.
Got it. So why does this matter for you listening?
Well, knowing these differences helps you get specific. Instead of just, I feel emotional, you can pinpoint. Am I having a flash of anger? Am I feeling the subjective sting of sadness? Or am I just in an anxious mood?
It's like having a better vocabulary for your inner world.
Exactly. More clarity for yourself and for communicating with others.
Okay, so we have a slightly better handle on the what. Let's get into the how. How are emotions actually, put together? I heard about Scherer's component process model.
Yes, Klaus Scherer's model is super useful here. It breaks down an emotional event into 5 key parts that all happen together or in quick succession.
5 parts. Okay, let's use an example. Say you see a snake on a hiking trail.
Perfect. Okay, component 1, cognitive appraisal. Your brain makes an instant judgment.
Is this dangerous? Should I be worried? That kind of thing.
Exactly. A super fast evaluation. Component 2, bodily symptoms.
Yeah, the physical stuff, heart pounds.
Hmm. Breathing gets faster, maybe you start sweating, the physiological response kicks in.
Component 3,
Action tendencies. This is the urge to do something.
like the urge to run or maybe freeze.
Yep, that motivational push for a motor response. Component 4 is expression.
How it shows on the outside, like widening your eyes, gasping.
Right. Facial expressions, body language, sounds, how you communicate it, intentionally or not.
And the fifth component.
Feelings. This is the conscious subjective part we talked about earlier. After those other things are rolling, you become aware.
But I feel scared.
Precisely. It's the subjective registration of that whole package.
Wow. Okay, so it's like a chain reaction, but all happening almost at once.
Pretty much, yeah. Coordinated and synchronized.
So why? Why do we have this complex system? The evolutionary angle seems key here.
Absolutely. From an evolutionary standpoint, emotions aren't just random noise. They're incredibly useful tools that helped us and still help us survive, learn, and connect.
Like the obvious ones, fear, anger, disgust.
Total survival aids. Fear helps you avoid danger. Anger motivates defense. Disgust stops you from, eating something poisonous.
And positive emotions, happiness.
They reinforce good stuff. They motivate you to seek out things that promote well-being, build relationships, repeat successes.
Emotions also seem tied to memory, right? You remember really emotional events more clearly.
Definitely. That's a huge learning advantage. Remembering that scary encounter helps you avoid it next time. Remembering joy motivates you to seek it again.
And the social side, expressions.
Crucial. They're like our original social network. A smile, a frown, they convey our internal state instantly, helping us bond, cooperate, warn each other.
Navigate the social world without needing complex language all the time.
Exactly. They're fundamental communication tools.
So think about your own life. When you feel something strongly, can you spot those 5 components? The appraisal, the body stuff, the urge to act, the expression, the feeling.
And can you see how that emotion might be serving a purpose? Maybe survival, maybe learning, maybe connection. It's a different way to look at it.
Let's shift gears a bit and look at how people have tried to understand emotions over time. It's not a new fascination, obviously.
Not at all. Thinkers east and west have wrestled with this for millennia. In Hinduism, you have the concept of Rasa's 9 core emotions, like love, anger, peace, still vital in Indian arts.
And Western philosophy. Aristotle saw them as part of virtue.
Right, but the Stoics were more wary, seeing many emotions as irrational judgments. Then came the Enlightenment.
And David Hume, turning things upside down.
Totally, saying reason serves the passions, that our actions are driven by fears and desires. That was revolutionary. He set the stage for more scientific questions.
Like the big one, does the body react first or the mind? The chicken or the egg?
Exactly. And this led to some really famous early theories, basically falling into 2 main camps.
Camp 1, body first, somatic theories.
Yep. William James and Carl Lange are the big names here, the James Lange theory.
Their idea was kind of counterintuitive.
Very. They said the emotion is your perception of your body changing.
So back to the snake example.
You see the snake, your heart races, you tremble, and then your brain interprets those physical signals as the feeling of fear.
I feel afraid because I'm trembling, not the other way around.
That was the core idea. Body leads, emotion follows.
But not everyone bought that.
No. Walter Cannon and Philip Bard pushed back hard. Their Cannon-Bard theory argued, well, bodily responses are often too slow.
And too similar, right? Like your heart races when you're scared, angry, or excited.
Exactly. How can the same physical response create such different feelings? They proposed something different.
What was their take?
They said the event, seeing the snake, triggers both things at the same time.
Parallel processing.
Yeah.
The physical reaction and the conscious feeling of fear happen simultaneously.
Right. Not a sequence, but happening together, initiated by the same trigger.
So body first versus body and mind together. Then things got even more nuanced.
Enter Schachter and Singer with the 2-factor theory. They added a crucial ingredient.
Which was?
Cognition, interpretation. They said, okay, first, you have general physiological arousal. Your body gets revved up.
It's a general buzz.
Kind of, yeah. Then step 2, you look around and your brain interprets that arousal based on the situation.
The famous adrenaline experiment.
That's the one. People felt aroused, but what emotion they felt, anger or amusement, depended entirely on the context they were put in, the person they were with.
So the mind labels the body's general signal.
Exactly. It needs context. Which leads us neatly to the other main camp.
The mind-first theories, cognitive theories.
Right. These theories argue that thinking judgment evaluation is essential, maybe even primary. Richard Lazarus is key here with his cognitive appraisal theory.
Lazarus said it's all about the appraisal.
Pretty much.
Ah.
See, the snake appraise it as dangerous, then the body reacts and you feel fear and act. The thought comes first and dictates the whole response.
The quality and intensity of the emotion depend on how you interpret the event.
Exactly. Your cognitive assessment is in the driver's seat.
So, looking back at all this, passions, body first, mind first, two-factor. Where does that leave us now?
Well, the most compelling current views really try to integrate all of it. It's not simply body or mind.
It's both, interacting.
Yes, thinkers like Antonio Damasio showed that emotion and reason aren't opposites. People with damage to emotional brain circuits, they couldn't make good decisions.
Wow. So emotions are vital for rational thought.
It seems so. They're deeply intertwined. And then you have newer ideas, like Lisa Feldman Barrett's theory of constructed emotion.
Constructed, meaning we make them.
In a way, yes. She argues emotions aren't just automatically triggered. They're created or constructed based on your body's signals, your past experiences, your culture, the immediate situation.
Your brain actively makes meaning out of internal and external input.
Right. It's an active predictive process, not just a passive reaction. Joseph Ledoux also talks about that cognitive elaboration on top of basic defense responses.
So the big takeaway from all these theories, ancient philosophy, James Lange, Cannon-Bard, Lazarus, right up to constructed emotion, is that it's complex.
It really is. It's biological, it's psychological, it's cognitive, it's learned, it's cultural, all woven together.
Does thinking about this whole spectrum change how you view your own feelings? Those intense moments or just your daily moods?
It definitely gives you more perspective.
Okay, perspective is great, but let's get practical. We know what they might be, how we've tried to understand them, but how do we deal with them? How can you manage your emotions?
This is where emotion regulation comes in. And the good news is, yes, you absolutely can influence your emotional experience. It's a skill.
A skill. I like that.
Yeah.
So how does it work? The TED Ed source had a model.
Yes, the process model of emotion regulation. It's really helpful because it breaks down how an emotion unfolds into steps and shows you where you can intervene. 4 main steps, 5 strategies.
Okay, walk us through it. Let's use an example. You get a really critical email from your boss. Feels unfair, makes you angry or defensive.
Okay, good one. Step 1 in the emotion process is the situation, the email itself.
Strategy 1 here.
Situation selection or avoidance. Could you have avoided opening that email right before a big meeting? Maybe checked it later. If you know certain situations trigger you, sometimes avoidance is smart.
Okay, but sometimes you can't avoid it. You have to read the email.
Right. So, strategy 2, situation modification. You're in this situation, but can you change it slightly?
How?
Maybe you decide how you'll read it, focusing only on action items. Or you immediately plan to discuss it calmly later, changing the anticipated interaction. You tweak the situation to lessen its sting.
Got it. Step 2 in the process.
Attention. What part of the email are you focusing on? Probably that one really harsh sentence, right?
Yeah, it just grabs you.
So strategy 3, attentional deployment. You consciously shift your focus.
Like reread the positive parts, or just close the email and work on something else for a bit.
Exactly. Redirect your mental spotlight away from the trigger. Step 3 in the process is appraisal.
This is the meaning-making part. How you interpret the email. This is unfair. My boss hates me.
That initial interpretation fuels the feeling. So strategy 4 is huge. Cognitive reappraisal.
Changing your interpretation.
Yes, reevaluating the meaning, thinking, okay, maybe my boss is just stressed. Or is there actually some valid feedback here, even if it's poorly delivered?
Finding a different angle on it, that can really change the feeling.
It absolutely can. It's one of the most powerful strategies. Finally, step 4 is the response. The emotion, anger, defensiveness has already kicked in.
So what now? Damage control.
Kind of. Strategy 5 is response modulation, trying to influence the feeling or its expression after it started.
Like taking deep breaths, going for a walk, talking it out instead of firing back an angry reply.
Exactly. Healthy coping mechanisms. But here's a warning from the sources. Just trying to suppress or hide the emotion, or using things like alcohol or drugs to numb it, that usually backfires.
Makes things worse long term.
Often, yes. Health problems, relationship issues, healthy modulation is key.
Okay, this model is really practical. Situation, attention, appraisal, response, points where you can step in.
And here's another really vital point, especially from that TED Ed source. No emotion is inherently good or bad.
Right. They're just helpful or unhelpful, depending on the context.
Exactly. Feeling sad when your friend is grieving, that's helpful. It builds connection. Forcing a smile through a tiny annoyance, also fine, keeps things smooth.
But being obsessed with always being happy, that's not helpful.
It often backfires. You end up feeling guilty or frustrated about not feeling happy. It creates secondary negativity.
So acceptance of a range of feelings is healthier. Maybe accepting sadness, but still aiming for hope.
That's a much more balanced approach.
And we can't forget the sociocultural layer here. Emotions aren't just inside us.
Not at all. Culture shapes everything, what triggers us, how we express feelings, how we regulate them. Research shows big cross-cultural differences.
Like feeling rules, unwritten rules about what you're supposed to feel or show.
Mhm. Think about how acceptable it is for men versus women to cry in public in some cultures, or how freely you can show disgust at a dinner party.
Right. Society tells us what's okay to feel and show and when.
And those rules really influence our internal experience, even if we don't realize it.
So knowing this process model, thinking about those feeling rules, how can you, the listener, use this?
It's about awareness and choice. Can you identify where you are in the emotion process? Can you choose a strategy, modify the situation, shift attention, reappraise, modulate your response?
And can understanding the feeling rules you live by help you navigate them more consciously? Maybe challenge them if they're not serving you?
It empowers you to bring more intention to your emotional life.
So let's recap. We've gone from tricky definitions and deep evolutionary roots,
Through all those theories, body first, mind first, the integrated views.
and landed on practical ways to regulate emotions using that process model, always remembering the cultural context.
It's a journey from the philosophical to the deeply personal and practical.
We've seen emotions aren't just one thing, but this complex interplay of biology, thought, and culture.
So here's a final thought to leave you with. If emotions really are these sophisticated signals designed to help us survive, connect, learn,
What could you gain by paying more conscious attention to them?
instead of just being swept away, what wisdom could you find if you really slowed down? Notice the trigger, saw the appraisal, felt the response, and then chose how to proceed.
Think about it. How could a deeper, more informed relationship with your own emotions empower you? Not just to cope in this crazy information overloaded world, but maybe to actually thrive.
Something to consider. This has been The Deep Dive.